Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Dear brothers and sisters, welcome to this new series titled Hajj Legacy Conference, starting tonight, inshallah ta'ala. As we approach these blessed days, the days of Dhul Hijjah, we, inshallah ta'ala, every evening, we're going to be hosting one of our great scholars here in North America. Tonight, without any further delay, I am honored to have with us our teacher, Dr. Waleed Basyouni, who is a colleague, and he's also a mentor, and he is, personally, I consider him to be a teacher. So inshallah ta'ala, without any further delay, I would like to welcome Sheikh Waleed with us here tonight. Everybody obviously here in the community knows him. حياكم الله Sheikh Waleed. أهلا وسهلا.
Allah يحييك. I just want to let all the listeners and people who, the viewers, to know, don't be deceived by my beard and his beard. He just dyed his beard and I don't much. That's no teachers, nothing.
Allah يبارك.
Like Allah khair.
It's great to have you here tonight. Alhamdulillah, who brought us to this, a very joyous moment of the year, what we would call the most wonderful time of the year for a Muslim, right? So Sheikh Waleed, is it official now that tomorrow is the first day of the Hijjah?
Yes, the very official statement from the Saudi official reference did not, I think, came out yet, but there is a statement came from a lower court and a court in Saudi Arabia mentioning that. I contacted some of my basically friend and teachers who are judges there. They told me, yes, it's confirmed. So inshallah, tomorrow is going to be the first day of the Hijjah according to the Saudi moon sighting. And I'm not sure about the local here.
Yeah. Well, we couldn't see the crescent tonight here. It was kind of cloudy, but anyhow, alhamdulillah, Sheikh, I have to tell you, subhanallah, it feels very awkward for me being here. Around this time, we're either preparing or we're already in Mecca or on our way to Mecca, subhanallah, for the past 5 years. And it feels very awkward and kind of painful, but at the same time, alhamdulillah, that we have come to this moment that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us the opportunity to come to be in this state. So Sheikhna, how significant, how important are these days?
Can I say just something? There is one hadith I love. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ابن عمر said كنت جالسا مع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. I was sitting with the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم. قال فجاءه رجل من الأنصار ورجل من ثقيف. A man from الأنصار of ثقيف, which is الطائف. They came and they gave salam to the Prophet. Then they said, يا رسول جئنا نسألك. We came to ask you about something. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إن شئتما أخبرتكما بما تريدان أن تسألاني عنه وإن شئتما يعني سكت أو حتى أمسكت وتسألاني. فقال بل قل لنا ما جئنا لنسألك عنه. How would he know? طيب. فقال جئتم تسألاني عن مخرجك من بيتك تأم البيت الحرام مالك. You came to ask me about leaving your house, going to البيت الحرام. What reward يعني for you? Then النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال لا تضع ناقتك خفا ولا ترفعه إلا كتب لك به حسنة ومحي به عنك سيئة. For every step your camel will take, for every khuf, not every step that every time your camel raises 1 foot up and goes down, that one hasana and one sayyah will be taken away. Oh. So in other words, if you want to make it in modern days, every round of a car, the tires, like a full round goes, every step that you take And the hadith is not about walking. It's about even the camel. So you can make that analogy or make that qiyas that anything that you do, anything that you write, for each and every step you take to Al-Bayt al-Haram, from your house all the way until you reach Al-Haram, Masjid al-Haram, there is one hasana for each step and one sin will be taken away. Can you imagine any coming from California? You are a little bit near now, closer.
Yeah. So every step, everything that you basically spend on your way there, you will be rewarded for it.
Yeah. One reward and one sin taken away. Then the hadith goes for so many things, but it's a very beautiful hadith, and you know, and the amount of rewards that you get. But every time I see this hadith, I said, يعني, subhanAllah, those who live in America, sometimes they don't realize how much reward that they have versus those who live, for example, in Mecca or in Jeddah or so forth. Anyway,
we're so blessed, subhanAllah.
Allah,
subhanAllah. We're so blessed. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to alleviate our, you know, to help us really get out of this situation.
Sheikh, you had the intention to go for Hajj this year?
Yes, Sheikh. Now
before the pandemic?
Yes, we had plans. Everything was worked out.
See, that's the beautiful thing. Those who never had the intention to go for Hajj, they don't get the reward. But those who have the intention for it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward them for it. And that's a great lesson. If that's the only lesson we learn from the pandemic when it comes to religion, this one, it's enough. Always inwil khayr, always have the intention to do something good. So if something stops you from doing it, you still get the ajr for it. So that's beautiful, alhamdulillah.
My heart goes out to those people who were planning to go last year, and then they changed their plans and they said next year, which is 2020, it will be much better. You know, it will work out better for them. And subhanAllah, they changed their mind from last year to this year, thinking that this year it's going to work out for them. And subhanAllah, you know, it's not. But hopefully, inshallah, Allah will allow them to do it soon, inshallah, maybe next year.
Who knows? Maybe you go, Sheikh.
Inshallah. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Still working on it, by the way.
Grant us. Who knows this? Sheikhna, so for those of us who are not going to be in Mecca, we're not going to be part of the 1,000 people who will be so fortunate and blessed to be there. We're here. These 10 days are very precious, as we were taught by our scholars. How significant, how important are these days?
Okay. The 10 days of the Hijjah are part of something we call them al-ashhur al-hurum. Al-ashhur al-hurum are different than ashhur al-hajj, the months of hurum, sacred months, different than the hajj months. The sacred months are 4. Rajab, which is Rajab al-Mudhar, which is basically the known month, Rajab. And
the seventh lunar month.
The 7th lunar month. Then you have Dhul Qa'dah, and you have Dhul Hijjah, and you have basically Muharram. So these are the 4 months. These 4 months, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made them very special. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Inna iddat al-shuhuri inda Allah. Allah made the year, or the months of the year, في كتاب الله يوم خلق السماوات والأرض منها 4 حرم. It's written in the safe tablets, or some ulama said it's written in a special book. The day the heavens and earth and this universe that we see was created, he made the time 12 months. 12 months. Among them 4 sacred months. So you might say, why the Quran mentioned 12 months? The Quran never cared about like physics and time, and like it's not a book of science. So why did the Quran specifically mention 12 months? Because the Arabs used to do something called an-nasi'. Basically an-nasi'a or nasi', إنما النسيء زيادة في الكفر. Somebody's name Junadah al-Kinani started this concept, it was said, which is he used to, the 4 months, which is sacred months, it's not allowed to fight. It's not allowed to have any war. And they used to do this because the Arabs used to benefit a lot from Hajj. So they want people to come to the Hajj season and Mudar and Rajab in the middle. So they want to come for Umrah. They make money. So how can they ensure that they will not be robbed? There is no fight, so any fight will break off. Anything will stop during this. So people will feel safe to travel through Arabia to come to Mecca. These 4 months, they used to consider them very sacred, very important for them, economically, but also religiously, because they inherited this from Ibrahim alayhi salam. They attribute this to Ibrahim alayhi salam, which is true because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us these sacred months. But what the kuffar did, the Jahiliyyah of Mecca, what they did, they started playing around. So they couldn't stay for 3 months without war, because war, it means invading others, making money, so they couldn't take it. So what they used to do, after the Hajj finished in Muharram, by the time the whole business finished, and now they're supposed to have 1 more month for people to feel safe to travel back. They used to break that Muharram. And كان هذا جناده يقف على he used to stand up at Jamrat al-Aqaba, and he would say, Allahumma inni nasu ash-shuhur wa wadi'u mawadhi'uha la u'abu wa la uhab, things of that nature. Allahumma inni ahlaltu ahada as-safarain wa harramtu safar al-mu'akhkhar. He used to say,
manipulate. Okay, so he would change the order.
He said, this Muharram is okay, is not anymore sacred. We're going to put Safar. Okay, and he will say, and Safar, and he will move it. So they will end up, as Ibn Kathir rahimahullah said, the year 13 months. Or he will say, I will add another month sacred to the 12th. So that's why Allah specifically said it's 12 months. You cannot make it 13. And it's 4. And these identified 4, as the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. And based on that change, they used to change the time of Hajj as well, by the way. They used to move it around so they can have flexibility whenever they want to engage in war. So whenever the last year that Hajj was made, it was according to the same system that was during Ibrahim alayhi salam. That's why the time became exactly the same way it was. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put it, and how Ibrahim made the Hajj, and that's basically been the case until today. Quran made that kufr to change or rejected that concept of playing with these months because Allah chose these months specifically. So my point here, that Allah chose from the 12 months 4 to be very special. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked us during these months, you do not basically transgress against yourself. Why? Why specifically these? Because they are very, very special months, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made them among the sign of Allah, min sha'airillah. وَمَنْ يُعَظِّمْ شَعَائِرَ اللَّهِ فَإِنَّهَا مِنْ تَقْوَى الْقُلُوبِ. Whoever honor these signs, these things that Allah have put for all humanity, it shows taqwa in the heart. So these 10 days, honoring it is part of honoring sha'airullah. Honoring these 10 days, part of honoring these sacred months, because it's part of it. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu said, in these sacred months, and that's important, it's not only the 10 days, it's the whole Dhul Qa'dah we just finished, and the Hijjah that we are in, and Muharram which is coming, and Rajab. Ibn Abbas used to say something very interesting. Ibn Abbas said, Yuridullah, Allah wants you, in فَلَا تَظْلِمُوا فِيهِنَّ أَنفُسَكُمْ, do not transgress against yourself. Allah wants you to protect yourself from sins, from wrongdoing. قال فإن الحسنات فيها تضاعف والسيئات تضاعف. The good deeds are multiplied and the bad deeds are multiplied as well, or being worse. It's a worse sin to be done. It's like doing a sin during the last third of the night. It's worse than making the sin in the beginning of the night, or both sin, but in that particular, in Mecca, it's worse than making it in in Cairo or in Jeddah, for example.
So
because
perhaps
it's a very sacrifice.
Because now you're committing the sin, and at the same time you're violating the sanctity of the month.
Absolutely.
So okay.
Also, another area why these are very significant. Jabir radiallahu anhu said that the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, قال أفضل أيام الدنيا العشر. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the best days of this whole entire world, and the best days in the year are the 10 days of the Hijjah. And the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, قال ما العمل في أيام أفضل من هذه العشر. There is no deeds better to be offered except during these 10 days. Reported by Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu. That's why ulama made this debate. Which days are better? The last 10 days of Ramadan or the first 10 days of the Hijjah?
I was going to ask you that question.
Yeah.
That's on the mind of, yeah.
Debating, and everyone brought something, but Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah known of this. Ibn Taymiyyah is very good at reconciliating between evidence. So Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah said, when we look at the last 10 days of Ramadan, what made the 10 days of Ramadan very special? He said the Laylatul Qadr. That's what made the last nights of Ramadan special. And what makes, when we look at the days of the Hijjah, it's Yawm al-Eid, which is in Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Yawm al-Eid, the day of Eid, قال أفضل الأيام عند الله يوم النحر ثم يوم القر. It's the day of al-Nahr, which is 10, and then the 11. Okay, so here we say that it is important to realize, and also the day of Arafah is one of the greatest days of Allah. And in Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the best days are the 10 days of Ramadan of the Hijjah. Ibn Taymiyyah said if you look, all the focus on the day, while the Ramadan, all the focus on the nights. So he said the last 10 nights of Ramadan, the nights are better, but the days of, because in Laylatul Qadr better than 1,000, but one more than 1,000, better than 1,000, more than 1,000-ish month. But when it comes to the days, it is better during the 10 days of Ramadan. That's why the 10 days of the Hijjah. That's why it is important to increase your amal al-salih, your deeds during the daytime. It's smart for you to focus on, because that's where it is so special. You know, Imam Ahmad rahimahullah, one of the things that has been reported about him, he used to pray during the daytime 300 rakats.
Allah. In the 10 days of the Hijjah.
No, generally speaking.
Okay.
Generally speaking. But what I'm trying to say is this is something to inspire you to care about the extending your duha prayer, making it more, the sunan, you know, not from the sunan al-ratiba to pray 4 and 4 before dhuhr and 4 after dhuhr. Now it's the time to care for it more, because the everything is multiplied. Everything. You need, anything you put, it will be multiplied so much for you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he said وَالْفَجْرِ وَلَيَالٍ عَشْرٍ يذكر الله في أيام معلومات. All these days in the two verses, Ibn Abbas said these are the 10 days of the Hijjah. So if this is the case, you know now why Sa'id مثلا Ibn Jubayr, who by the way, one of the narrator of Hadith al-Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that the best days of the world are the days of the first 10 days of the Hijjah. So increase your good deeds in it. Hadith ibn Umar radiallahu anhu, ما من أيام أعظم عند الله. The greatest days in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are the 10 days of the Hijjah. ولا أحب إليه, and nothing more beloved to him from the good deeds except like the deeds that they are offered during these 10 days of the Hijjah. فأكثروا فيهن, increase your تهليل وتسبيح, say لا إله إلا الله سبحان الله الحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله والله أكبر. كان سعيد بن جبير, which is the narrator of this hadith, إذا دخلت العشر, when the 10 days of start, اجتهد اجتهادا حتى ما يكاد يقدر عليه. He will exhaust himself in the ibadah in these 10 days. وكان يعني تميم الداري, which is a great صحابي, يقول لا تطفئوا سرجكم في العشر. Don't turn off your light. Just increase your ibadah. And I talk about the daytime, but I also the night as well, because the whole entire 10 days are very special. So
basically he's saying do ibadah around the clock, non-stop.
Around the clock, as much as you can. These 10 days are just every second of these 10 days counts.
So Sheikh,
just
in other
keep
words,
it that way.
We should be as excited about these days, if not more, then we're excited about the last 10 nights of Ramadan.
Exactly. And that shows how the ignorance that we have as a Muslim now about this fact, how ignorant we are about this fact, how much we care so much about, the 10 days of Ramadan, but you see people don't care about the 10 days of the Hijjah. And that's actually, there is no hadith talking about the virtue of the 10 days of Ramadan, the last days of Ramadan. The only hadith talk about Laylat al-Qadr. But this hadith talk about the days of the 10 days of the Hijjah. And when we say days of the Hijjah, it means the whole 24 hours. They are the greatest, the best days of the year. Very general statement that the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam made. And he ordered us to do. And you look at how the Sahaba radiallahu anhum and the Tabi'een, the successor, exhaust themselves in the ibadah during these 10 days. And they do their best. I think the most important thing here for us is to make sure that we say this to ourselves. Every second counts. It counts. It's an opportunity for you. So, and what I love about Hadith ibn Umar that I just mentioned, that the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam gave an example of the easiest ibadah, which is أكثر فيهن, make as much as you can from. If I didn't tell you the rest of the hadith, you will start thinking, what the Prophet will recommend? Salah. Salah is the best ibadah. Fasting, nothing reward similar to it. لا مثل له. Salat خير موضوع. Recite the Quran. But Nabi choose something else. He said, what? La ilaha illallah, alhamdulillah, wallahu akbar. And I think this is not necessarily because these are better than Salah or Siyam. No. And I think Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was telling us about something that we can occupy every minute of these 10 days, doing it without being exhausted. You can pray 24 hours. You can fast in the night. But you can make tasbih and tahmid all the time. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was giving us something that it can really maximize our reward during these 10 days without getting exhausted or even, there is no excuse basically for us to miss out this opportunity.
Shaykhna, can we safely say that this precious season has actually started tonight, or do we start from tomorrow?
It starts from tomorrow.
Okay. طيب Shaykhna, okay, now what in addition to dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the remembrance of Allah, speaking of dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a lot of people have a question about takbirat, right? Takbirat are a form of celebrating the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we're actually mentioning the name of Allah when we say Allahu Akbar, la ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar. When do we start this? Now, or do we wait until the day of Arafah?
So takbir during the 10 days has a many different formats, okay? أنا mean format words that you can do. So for example, just I'll start this, then I'll start with the timing. When do you say? Sa'id ibn Jubayr, Mujahid, and Jama'a min al-Tabi'een, a group of the scholars, they used to say Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah. Okay? Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar kabira. So Salman al-Farisi used to say that. And that's the only authentic one we have from the Sahaba, actually. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allah. He would say Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar kabira. يقول ابن القيم هذا أصح ما ورد عن الصحابة. This is
the most authentic. The most authentic.
Ibn Hajar rahimahullah said, this is the most authentic thing we have from the Sahaba. This one. You say Allahu Akbar 3 times, then in the end, Akbar kabira, the greatest. Sa'id al-Jubayr used to add Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar kabira, walillahi alhamd. And Mujahid and Jama'a. And in some narration, they said La ilaha illallah wa la sharika lah, lahu al-mulku wa alhamdu ala kulli shay'in qadir. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Was reported that Ibn Mish said, and Umar said, that's what Imam Ahmad rahimahullah used to say. He used to say, Allahu Akbar 2 times, La ilaha illallah, Wallahu Akbar, walillahi alhamd. That's how it is. Allahu Akbar 2 times, La ilaha illallah, Wallahu Akbar, walillahi alhamd. Shafi'i rahimahullah said something interesting. Shafi'i rahimahullah, and Nawawi rahimahullah mentioned that. Shafi'i said, قال وإن زاد فحسن. And if you want to add to this, it's up to you. Like, because some people say, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim. They add the salah Rasulullah. It's okay. Why are we saying it's okay? Because when we look at the Sahaba and the Tabi'een, and we find that they have used different ways of takbir, we understood that they understood. We understand now that they understood that the orders or the numbers is not something specified by the Prophet ﷺ or the Sahaba. It was left open for them. That's why you have different way of saying it between the Sahaba radiallahu anhum wa ardah. So it means you do any way of takbir, subhanallah, Allahu Akbar, subhanallah, alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar. That it's exactly like the talbiyah. It never was one strict format of talbiyah. Same thing here, it's not one strict format. And that's why the Sahaba have a different way. If it meant to be one specific format, Nabi Sallallahu would have said it and it would have been reported to us, but that didn't happen. When do you start? You start basically, you start your takbir from the beginning of the Fajr tomorrow. So after you pray Fajr, you can say after Salah, during walking, work, riding your bike, driving your car, standing in line, waiting on the phone, and any time. Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, Allah. Until what? Until the Asr of the 3rd day of Tashriq. What's the 3rd day of Tashriq? It's the 3 days after Eid. So Eid, then 3 days after that. The 3rd day is after Eid, okay? At Asr, that's when you end.
Okay. So the 13th of the Hijjah.
Huh?
The 13th of the...
It's either 3 days after Eid or 2 days after Eid. And this, the majority of the Sahaba and the strongest opinion, it is 3 days after Eid. So at that Asr, that's where you say takbir all the time, every time. But the takbir that comes right after Salah, which is al-ulama, they call it takbir muqayyad, which it means restricted or specifically to be mentioned after the salawat, dubur salawat. Even if you are at home, if you don't pray at home, if you pray at home because of the pandemic now, you're praying at home, still after salah, you should do this with your family. And you say it after each salah. It starts from what time? It starts from the day of Arafah, from the day of Fajr, the day of Arafah, if you're not making Hajj, which is for those who are not in doing Hajj, and it ends at Asr in the last day of Tashriq, which is 3 days after Eid. What I want everybody to pay attention to, a lot of people think that from Arafah, you don't do takbir, general takbir, during the daytime and while. No, that's not true. You still do that, but it is highly recommended for you to do the specific one as well, which is after the salawat. A lot of people think that al-muqayyad yalghi al-mutlaq. هذا مو صحيح. السلف رضي الله عنهم used to make the takbir all the time. But in these days, from Fajr of Arafah until the Asr of the 3rd day after Eid, after Salah, they will be very specifically saying it after Salah before even they do the adhkar. And that's what the ulama rahimahullah call it, al-dhikr al-muqayyad, al-dhikr al-muqayyad. And I love what Maymun ibn Mahran used to say. Maymun ibn Mahran is from the successor. He said, أدركت الناس وإنهم ليكبرون في العشر حتى كنت أشبهه بالأمواج من كثرتها. When people used to make takbir on the street, I would think so many people saying it, it looks like waves, like waves, people saying it. كان ابن عمر وأبو هريرة, this is في البخاري, معلق, used to go outside يكبران ويكبر الناس بتكبير. They will make takbir, and people, when they see them, okay, they will start making takbir as well. But this hadith, يكبر الناس بتكبير, it doesn't mean that Abu Hurairah and Ibn Umar goes to takbir and say Allahu Akbar, or like say Allahu Akbar, everybody bow them, Allahu Akbar. No, it means they say Allahu Akbar. So when you see them, just remind them, so they start doing takbir as well, and tahmid and tahleel. In another word, make sure when you walk in your hallway, when you come pass by your wife, or your wife pass by you, or you see your kids in the room, you say Allahu Akbar. So that's what remind them that they start saying it with you. You're talking to somebody in the phone, you have a Zoom meeting on the phone with some Muslim brothers, and he starts saying Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. So yukabbirun nas, be that reminder, a person who remind others of the takbir. And that's one of Sha'air al-Islam, one of the signs of Islam that unfortunately is dying out. Unfortunately, it is dying out. And we need to revival the Sunnah in this. And this is one of the things that I think we can commit to it as a practical point in this 10 days. Let's commit to revival the Sunnah. You know what? I just downloaded Takbir, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, like a video. And I'm going to be sending to people during the 10 days of the Hijjah, just as a reminder. You already
said, Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. The one that you sent me, I received it. Jazakallah.
Yes, I know.
That's how I knew it was official. So, subhanAllah, in other words, Sheikh Waleed, we can now start celebrating. We can start celebrating now, and we can, we have to make sure that our family members realize that now it's time for celebration, remembrance of Allah, doing takbirat tonight, tomorrow. And so just to recap, so random or spontaneous takbir goes from now all the way until the 13th day of the Hijjah. The one that we make 14th, after
the day of Eid, and 3 days after. 10, 11, 12, 13, 12, sorry, 13.
13th day. Okay. And then the one that we do after each salah, that will
from
start
the 9th,
the morning of the day of Arafah, which is the 9th.
Yeah.
Okay. And that
all
goes
the way
for
to
9th,
the Asr
10th,
of the 13th.
Goes for about 5 days. Okay. So everyone at home, take a note of this. Takbirat, we can start doing takbir, and obviously, dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala constantly around the clock. And then when we pray together, whether we pray at home or you pray in your own musalla, after each salah, starting from the day of Arafah, which is the 9th day of the Hijjah, you do your takbirat after the salah as well as during the daytime.
Yeah. كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم in the after the salawat, while he's in after Salat al-Fajr in the day of Arafah, used to say صلى الله عليه وسلم Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, wa lillahi alhamd. 2 times, La ilaha illallah 1 time, Allahu Akbar 2 times, wa lillahi alhamd. This been reported that in Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, but also been reported he said Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar 3 times by Jabir ibn Abbas, and both are Hasan, or both are okay, as Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah said in Zad al-Ma'ad when he talked about Hadi Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam fi takbir. No.
Shaykhna, what's your opinion? How do you feel about people decorating their homes with Eid decorations, or for the 10 starting now? There are some people who wait until the day of Arafah and then they start, the eve of the Eid. But now I'm getting the impression that if we do this just to kind of make our children realize that these are very special days, maybe we should start now, decorating and creating this atmosphere.
I think it's important. A lot of our children don't know that these are very special 10 days. They don't, because Ramadan, everybody's fasting, the whole system changed. But now people are not realizing, and I think it's important for us. Can you imagine 2-3 generations down on the line? Where is the 10 days of the Hijjah will be? People think it just has to do with Hajj and people on Hajj, but that's not true. I think decorating the house, and in my opinion, this is something I believe it's good to be done, especially here in America for us as a Muslim community, because it makes us special. That's part of our culture. That's how we celebrate things, And I think that's an excellent idea, to make that a special days, and getting ready for Eid. You know, I will tell you something about making a special. This month I have like 4 of my kids, their birthdays, or 3 of my kids, 3 of my family members, they have their birthday in July. But I always trying to make a point that if there's birthday in July, we don't have like an official celebration, stuff like that, but I give them gifts and stuff, you know, make them feel special. But I make a point that I would never make the Eid, the gift of the birthday, in the same level of the gift of Eid. I always make the gift, like the kids, like not, oh, I wanted this, I will save this for my birthday gift. No, Habibi, now my kids, I save this for my Eid gift. Because they know Eid is the highest rewarding gifts. And that's important for our kids to learn. Make the Eid is the most special occasion in their days, in their life. It's not the birthday, it's not this, it's the Eid. Just 1 second.
Yeah. SubhanAllah, you know, speaking of which, you know, my kids actually birthday coincides with Sheikhna. My kid's birthday is 1 day before Eid. So can I do can I do jam'i, yani can I combine both occasions?
Yeah, you reminded me from brother, he was born in the same day of his birthday in Hijri is Eid al-Adha. I said, MashaAllah, your father just saved the aqiqah at the same time.
Speaking of which, Sheikhna, you know, combining, there are a lot of people who ask this question. You know, many people recommend, we find recommendation of doing good deeds, all kinds of good deeds, including fasting. So you find a lot of people pushing this idea that take advantage of these sacred days, your deeds will be multiplied. You know, fast as many days, you know, fast all of them or as many days as you can. Now, some people are asking if they have any makeup days, any days that they miss in the month of Ramadan, can they combine their intention, fast these makeup days now and get the reward for both?
Very good. I differentiate between Arafah and the rest of the days.
Okay.
Arafah is the day which is in Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In the authentic hadith, he told us to fast, and he recommended for us to. And in Sahih Muslim, Nabi said that I believe that this fasting, the day of Arafah, will erase 2 years, the previous one and the coming one. And this is versus what? Ashura, it only erased the previous year, 1 year, but Arafah, 2 years. And the ulama rahimahullah said that because Arafah is related specifically to Muhammad sallallahu and to the Ummah, but Ashura related to Musa and his Ummah. And the Nabi sallallahu is higher level and his Ummah is higher. That's why Allah give him more reward and give this Ummah more reward. That's why it is higher in reward. Anyway, so in the day of Arafah, you cannot combine between Arafah and making up the day. Why? Because Arafah is a very specific fasting, has a specific intention for it. But the 9 days before Arafah, or the 8 days,
you mean the 8 days, yeah,
the 8 days before Arafah are general fasting. It's like fasting any other day. There's nothing specific about them. Like Monday, Thursday, no specific Monday. But no, Arafah is the 9th of the Hijjah. That's it. While the other ones are basically general, like basically an unrestricted type of fasting. So you can combine between the intention of making up the days and doing it. Also, I don't believe there is any specific authentic hadith in relation to fasting the 8 days of the Hijjah. The fasting the 8 days or the 9 days of the Hijjah came in hadith Hafsa, hadith Hunayda bint Khalid, عن امرأة من أزواج النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. Another narration said it's Hafsa, that the Nabi صلى الله عليه وسلم used to not to miss fasting these days. I don't believe this hadith is authentic. And actually, Aisha radiallahu anha, she rejected this hadith actually. And she said the Nabi Sallallahu did not do that. And she didn't agree with that. And Aisha radiallahu anha min a'lam as-sahaba radiallahu anhu, one of the most knowledgeable companions, especially when it comes to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's habits of fasting and ibadah. And this is not just one night or something like that, that's 9 days. So that means for sure her night is one of these, she sees the Prophet every day during the daytime. So she would have known that he used to fast these 9 days. Especially, she said he never missed a year. The hadith Hafsa. Anyway, so what I do, I know some scholars say it's recommended, but in any case, I don't believe there is a specific fasting. It's called the 9 days of the Hijjah or the 8 days of Hijjah. The 9th of Arafah, yes, but the other ones are general. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam encouraged us to do good deeds. So if I want to fast as a part of the good deeds that I offer, it's fine. Or it is Monday, Thursday, that's excellent. And I encourage you to fast. But there is no such thing specifically, it's called the fasting of the 9th. No, it's like I recommend you to pray. There is no such thing, the duha of the 9th, or a special prayer for the 9th, or a special dhikr for the 9th, or a special Quran khatma in the 9th. No. Like I recommend, for example, one thing that I will recommend people to come collectively as a community and try to challenge each other in WhatsApp group. How about this? You might say a challenge for WhatsApp group. We will make a group and we will make Khatm al-Quran in the 10 days of Ramadan, 10 days of the Hijjah. 3 juz every day. And if one day goes and you didn't do your 3 juz, you're out of the group until we see how many people will be left in the group. You see?
I like it. I love it.
Yeah. So it's a commitment I'm planning to do to my community too. So, beautiful. And with a group of brothers and sisters. So that's something you can do. Yeah, you encourage yourself to do it. Like many ibadah you can think of and to do during these 10 days of the Hijjah, and obviously helping people, sadaqah, donating, and learning, attending classes, listening to lectures. All these are great things you should always care to do and to have a share of the khair as much as you can. One of the greatest ibadah to do is to purify your heart. You know, forgive people, those who have harmed you. You know, let things go. You know, be nice to your parents. One of the great ibadah is to be nice to your parents. If they are alive or they're dead. If they're dead, make dua for them, make sadaqah on their behalf. You know, if they're still alive, give them a call, thank them. Say, Mom, thank you for being such a great mother. Dad, I just want to say thank you. I love you. By the way, we don't thank, you know, our fathers much. You know, I know that there is, by the way, there is always a lot of hadith talk about the virtue of the father. It's not because I'm a man or a father saying that, but that's as a student of knowledge, I can tell you that. There's a lot of hadith. Allah will be pleased with you when your father is pleased with you.
Yeah. So yeah, wallahi, this is beautiful, Shaykhna. So we can't just think of good deeds in terms of only rituals and ibadat and prayer. We have to also remember that mu'amalat, like interactions with people, especially those whom Allah Azza wa Jal commanded us to be kind and respectful towards, like our parents. That's wallahi a beautiful reminder. Shaykhna, before we
gifts, sending gifts to people. It is an ibadah. Idkhal al-surur al-Muslim, making them happy. You know, and sometimes we think about making gifts and making people happy far, far away. What about the closest one to you? You know, the people. Beautiful. Also, I would like to say something. Make sure that your intention good when you do good to your family. Like, for example, a lot of people start shopping for Eid and Eid's gift and stuff like that. In Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, dirham, money that you spent for this cause, for that cause. And in the end of the hadith, he said, and وَدِرْهَمٌ تُنْفِقُهُ عَلَى عِيَالِكَ, and a dirham that you spend on your family. The one that you spend on your family more beloved to Allah than all the rest. I always believe this hadith the point of the hadith is not to say, khalas, no more Islamic relief, no more igna, no more helping hand, no more Islamic Center of Memphis. Inshallah, I got to spend it with my kids. That's not the point of the hadith. You're completely missing the point of the hadith. The point of the hadith is to show you that the money that you spend in your family, you have a great opportunity to get reward for it if you have the right intention. And don't undermine it. It's like exactly the hadith that talk about many of the Sahaba said that it is more beloved to me to say Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, than to give equal to the number of these words, gold and silver. This ahadith, this narration, the point is not to undermine the value of sadaqah, it's to show you the value of dhikr. You have to be like so wrong to see the lesson that you go with. Oh, sadaqah is not that important. No, it is how important dhikr is, how valuable dhikr is. So the same thing here, how valuable it is to also make your family happy, is to spend money on your family. Because I know people will hold back when it comes to their family. No, ya akhi, give with the right intention and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless. So it'll be something that Allah reward you for it, inshallah ta'ala.
So now it's time to be kind, to be generous, and to be helpful. Everything that you do, inshallah, counts for you.
Kind.
Yeah.
I go kind.
Yeah.
Are the best kind of people.
Jazakumullah khair, Sheikhna. Before we end, we have about 4 minutes left. Sheikhna, any, let's say, so I love the beautiful tip that you gave us, inshallah ta'ala, idea. We're going to implement it, inshallah. We have a Quran reading competition, inshallah ta'ala. But what do we,
if you don't mind,
get a reward?
One of the things also important is even though the hadith, there is a debate over the authenticity of it, but many ulama consider it sound, hasan, and the practice is something common from the Sahaba radiallahu anhum and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Even the Nabi Sallallahu said never missed to do that every day in his life, which is he stayed after Fajr until the sunrise making adhkar. And the Hadith al-Tirmidhi said you will take the reward of a complete perfect Hajj and Umrah, or one narration Umrah, as if you went and made Hajj and Umrah. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, man masha ila salat al-maktuba, if you walk to pray in the masjid for obligatory prayer, you will take the reward of Hajj. Hadith Hasan, reported by Tabarani fil Kabir. And if you walk to masjid to pray volunteer prayer, is the reward of Umrah. Kan ba'd al-Sahaba used to say going for Eid. So anyway, there is a lot of things also you can do, and there's a lot of reward for it that you should not miss. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from us. And maybe in the end, if you want to end with something about Eid al-Adha, and this, I don't know what you guys are planning to do in Eid, but I want to cite those who can't go to the masjid these days for whatever, because of the pandemic or fear. They are excused to pray at home, but they're not excused to miss the salah. They're not excused to delay the salah until the time of it is in. One of the best things you can do to pray in the beginning of the time. So make sure during the 10 days, pray on the beginning of the time. من أحب الأعمال إلى الله الصلاة في أول وقتها. So one of the things also that you should carefully hear me, the sin are multiplied. Don't watch the haram during these 10 days and during the Ashur al-Huram. Stay away from backbiting, from gossip, from envy, from hurting people, especially in social media. I always say, tweet people the way you like people to tweet you, like you can make sure that you avoid, because al-Fadl Ibn Iyad rahimahullah ta'ala said, ما حج ولا رباط ولا جهاد في سبيل الله أشد على الإنسان من حبس اللسان. The most difficult deed is to control this. So control it, accept with goodness during these 10 days, and make this as a training for you. Eid, I don't know what's the plan. What are you guys planning to do in Eid?
Well, we're discussing it here in Memphis, Sheikh. Every Eid, one of the centers organizes for the whole community. So Eid al-Fitr was MIC's responsibility, and we tried our best with some arrangements that I think were very successful. And this time we have a local masjid here, Masjid al-Rahman. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, bless them and give them success. They're going to be organizing it, and we're just going to follow their lead, inshallah.
So are you guys allowed to gather in large number? Because in Texas we can't do that.
Not yet. Yeah, not yet. No.
Yeah. But if this is the case, basically what I just want to make sure that people know, if you cannot go to Eid prayer,
you can still pray at home.
You can pray at home.
Yeah.
And you can pray at home. And when you pray at home, you can pray Eid in congregation with your family members, as long as there is like 2 males minimum. You can pray. And even if there's nobody at all, you can pray by yourself 2 rak'ah. And there is many different ways of performing this salah, came from the Salaf rahimahullah ta'ala. How to pray Eid at home. So Anas radiallahu anhu arda, when he missed Salat al-Eid, he will bring his family and his servants, and he will appointed Abdullah ibn Utbah, one of his servants, Mawla, فيصلي بهم ركعتين وكبر فيهم. He will pray 2 rak'ah and making takbir. The same thing in Eid, takbir in the beginning, takbir like the extra takbirat. But also you can make it without any extra takbir, just 2 rak'ah. And also there is another Sahaba radiallahu anhu, another 4 rak'ah, straight, no sitting in the middle. All these formats have proof and have been practiced by the Salaf rahimahullah ta'ala, the early generation, and you can do any one of them, it's okay. Do you have to give khutbah? No. Khutbah al-Eid in itself, in the musalla al-Eid, whenever we officially make the Eid, it is sunnah, it's not right.
Okay.
So you can put it, and also you can listen to the khutbah or I think it's a nice thing to do, by the way, to listen to a speech and to listen to a reminder with your family. I think it's a nice thing. I saw some of the videos, of our community last time. They choose one of the kids to give the khutbah, to give the reminder. Just a short one, just 2 minutes. And if you can't, you can even play, a short reminder from YouTube. The point is there is a reminder, and make sure that you make dua. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam asked women and asked men and to gather to attend the dua. It looks like a dua special at that moment. قال يشهدون الدعاء والخير. So you make dua for you and your family. Make them feel special about it. Eid is a combination of 2 things. It's a religious, a spiritual part of it, and this is important. But also there is like the fun part and the
social part. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Beautiful. Shaykhna, jazakumullah khairan. We really, really appreciate you taking the time and joining us tonight. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless these days for you and your family and your loved ones. Please keep us all in your prayers. Keep our community members in your dua.
We need to do that. We need to do that. We need to make a lot of dua that Allah help us in these days. Remind me, Sheikh, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, ثُمَّ أَوْرَثْنَا الْكِتَابَ الَّذِينَ اصْطَفَيْنَا مِنْ عِبَادِنَا فَمِنْهُمْ ظالم لنفسه ومنهم مقتصد ومنهم سابق بالخيرات ايش؟
بإذن الله.
بإذن الله. You will never be advancing in khayrat except بإذن الله. يعني with Allah's will. And how can you get that? By raising your hand and saying, Ya Allah, make me among those who سابق بالخيرات.
Ameen. Ameen. Shaykhna, can we conclude with a dua especially for those who have been affected by this virus? We have, few cases here of our community members who tested positive, and people who are dealing with some symptoms, some mild, some severe. So inshallah, if you can make dua for all of us, inshallah.
Sure. بسم الله اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وآله إنك حميد مجيد. Ya Allah, I ask you by your names and attributes, you the healer, to heal all the sick ones. Ya Allah, bring your healing and you give a speed recovery to all those who are suffering from this pandemic. Allahu Akbar mimma nakhafu wa nahdhar. Ya Allah, you are greater than anything that we fear, anything that can harm us. Ya Allah, protect us. Ya Allah, protect our family, protect our health, our wealth, our businesses, our city, our community, from the evilness of this disease. Ya Allah, bring a quick and swift relief to the world. Ya Arhamar Rahimin. Ya Allah, we ask you, Ya Dhul Jalali wal Ikram, to make the outcome of this disease and this pandemic the best for us and for our family. Ya Allah, we ask you, Ya Hayy Ya Qayyum, to forgive our sins. Ya Allah, do not hold us accountable for what the ignorance among us have done. اللهم لا تؤاخذنا بما فعل السفهاء منا. اللهم يا رب السماوات والأرض، يا واسع المغفرة، يا واسع الرحمة، يا ذا الجلال والإكرام، يا حي يا قيوم، اغفر لنا وارحمنا وعافنا واعف عنا، وعافنا واعف عنا، وعافنا واعف عنا. اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من جهد البلاء ودرك الشقاء وشماتة الأعداء وسوء القضاء. اللهم يا مقلب القلوب والأبصار، مسكنا بالإسلام والسنة حتى نموت وأنت راض عنا، لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إنا كنا من الظالمين، لئن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. ربنا لا تجعلنا فتنة، ربنا لا تجعلنا فتنة للقوم الظالمين، ونجنا برحمتك من القوم الكافرين. اللهم إنا نسألك يا ذا الجلال والإكرام أن تحسن ختامنا. اللهم يسر لنا عبادة، اللهم يسر لنا الطاعة. اللهم حبب إلينا وإلى أولادنا وأهلينا الإيمان وزينه في قلوبنا وقلوبهم، وكره إلينا وإليهم الكفر والفسوق والعصيان، واجعلنا وإياهم من الراشدين. وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله، واغفر لوالدينا أحياء وميتين، يا حي يا قيوم، واجمعنا بهم برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. صلى الله على محمد.
Jazakumullah khairan, Shaykhna. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you and your family. Dear brothers and sisters, Jazakumullah khair for tuning in with us. Inshallah, do not forget tomorrow, same time, inshallah, with another special guest, inshallah ta'ala.
Who's your guest tomorrow?
It's a surprise, Shaykhna. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I wish you all blessed and joyous days and Eid. Barakallahu feekum.
Thank you for your viewer too. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. جزاك الله خيرا شيخ.